Historic Royal Union. Princess Leonor marries, Spain in 2025. Spain expected a royal wedding. But no one expected the moment that would leave an entire nation breathless. Because just when people thought they had seen every royal ceremony, something happened today, something so unexpected, so deeply emotional, that it shifted how millions see Princess Leonor forever. And it all began in the most ordinary way. A royal carriage. A familiar palace. A country watching with the same calm expectation as every state event. But suddenly, everything changed. Because the moment Princess Leonor stepped out into the open air of Copenhagen, Spain realized this wasn't just another royal ceremony. This wasn't tradition repeating itself. This was history rewriting itself, live, right before their eyes. Witnesses describe the instant shift. A hush. A kind of stunned silence. And then, pure awe. What happened? Why did Leonor's entrance send shockwaves through Denmark and Spain at the same time? And what unseen story lies behind today's breathtaking moment? Stay with me, because once you understand the deeper layers, the hidden emotions, and the powerful decisions leading up to this day, the entire meaning of this historic union becomes something far more profound than a wedding. This is where the truth begins. Spain watched. The world watched. But only a few understood what they were truly witnessing. Now, let's go inside this story. Leonor's emotional moment didn't begin at the aisle. It began long before she stepped into the spotlight. It began with a decision, one that shaped her future, her family, and the destiny of the Spanish crown. For months, the conversations behind palace walls were quiet yet intense. Was Spain ready for Leonor to step from heir to the throne into a new chapter? One shared with a partner chosen not by politics or alliances, but by something far more powerful, love. This was the question that hovered over every royal meeting, every late-night discussion between King Felipe and Queen Letizia. The monarchy stands on tradition, but Leonor stands on sincerity. And sincerity doesn't always follow protocol. But today, as she walked toward her future, Spain finally understood just how much courage that sincerity required. The moment her dress appeared from behind the ceremonial arch, there was an audible reaction from the crowd. Not because of extravagance, but because of emotion. Her expression wasn't the controlled, measured royal look everyone expected. It was raw, real, almost overwhelmed. And cameras caught it instantly. A soft tear, barely visible at first, but unmistakable. Spain's future queen, crying. Not from pressure, not from fear, but from a wave of emotion that even she, trained for years to remain composed, could not contain. This single tear became the headline of the world within minutes. Not because it was dramatic, but because it made her human. And that humanity is what Spain fell in love with today. But what caused that tear? What moment tipped her heart so deeply? To find that answer, we need to look not at Leonor, but at who was waiting for her. Prince Christian stood at the altar, but this was not just a Danish prince following royal protocol. This was a young man who had been part of Leonor's private life long before the cameras, the ceremonies, the political implications. The truth is simple. They didn't just come together because two kingdoms approved. They came together because two people chose each other, quietly, consistently, and against every expectation placed upon them. That emotional history spilled into today. And you could see it. The moment their eyes met, Leonor stopped walking for half a second. Just a half second, but it was enough to reveal everything. The connection, the relief, the weight of years of scrutiny finally breaking. The certainty that this moment wasn't royal duty, it was personal destiny. And then Spain felt it. This wasn't a wedding for the crown. This was a union for the heart. The ceremony continued, but the atmosphere shifted. The crowd wasn't just watching. They were emotionally pulled into the story unfolding in front of them. But the most shocking moment came during the vows. The script was set, the words approved, everything rehearsed. Yet Leonor did something no one expected. She paused, looked at Christian, and in a softer voice than the public was used to hearing, she added a line that wasn't in the official program. A personal promise. Witnesses said the queen instantly lowered her head, visibly moved. King Felipe blinked rapidly, fighting back emotion. And the cameras zoomed in on Leonor's hands, slightly trembling. Spain watched this moment replay again and again. Not for the gesture, but for what it symbolized. A future queen who refuses to hide her heart. From this point, the ceremony became something more than historic, it became intimate. Let's go deeper into what happened next. After the exchange of rings, the crowd expected the traditional royal nod, the formal step forward, the reserved exit. But the couple hesitated, and in that hesitation came another unexpected moment. A quiet whisper between them, captured only by the closest microphones. Just 2 words. "Thank you." Christian whispered it first. Then Leonor echoed it, not to each other, but to the crowd, to their families, to their countries, because they knew how much this union meant, and how much courage it took to reach this point. Spain felt that gratitude, and Spain responded with overwhelming pride. But the wedding was only the beginning. What happened after is where the story becomes truly unforgettable. As the balcony doors opened and the newly married couple stepped into the cold Copenhagen air, something astonishing happened. Instead of applause, the crowd fell into a moment of absolute silence. Not shock, not confusion, but respect. It was as if the entire plaza collectively agreed that this moment needed to be felt, not just witnessed. And then, as if on cue, the silence broke. A wave of emotion, cheers, voices, flags rising, a roar that grew from the front rows and spread like a heartbeat across the square. Spain, watching live, felt that roar in their living rooms. But in all the excitement, people missed one small yet powerful detail. Princess Leonor reached for Christian's hand, first. A true first move, symbolic, intentional, a sign of equality and partnership rarely displayed so openly in royal tradition. This is the moment historians will cite decades from now. Not because it was dramatic, but because it represented a new chapter in European royalty, one led by authenticity, respect, and emotional truth. Now the question becomes, what does this union mean for Spain's monarchy? For the future throne, for the generations watching and finding themselves inspired? To answer that, we must understand Leonor's unique position. She is the first Spanish queen-in-waiting of the modern era, raised in both tradition and transparency. She has grown up in a world where monarchy must prove relevance every day. And today, through this marriage, she proved something powerful. That leadership isn't only about duty. It's about connection, understanding, humanity. And Spain embraced her even more for it. But this story still has more layers. Behind the ceremony lies the subtle political meaning, something that both Spain and Denmark quietly acknowledge. This union strengthens cultural ties. It softens borders. It creates a symbolic bridge between nations that share values, history, and a vision for the future of Europe. Royal marriages once served strategy. Today, they serve empathy. And the world saw that in action. The celebrations that followed were filled with emotion. Not staged emotion, real emotion. Queen Letizia was seen wiping her eyes more than once. Princess Sophia hugged her sister with a sincerity that moved even the commentators to silence. And King Philippe's expression, usually guarded, softened into pure pride. Every angle, every camera feed, every witness described today the same way. Beautiful, unexpected, real, history. Now, as Spain reflects on this union, one truth stands out. This wasn't just a royal event. This was a national emotional moment. A day where people put aside politics, opinions, and debates, and simply felt connected to something bigger. Leonor didn't just marry. She reminded a country what hope looks like. She reminded the world that even in the rigid world of royalty, love can still surprise us. Love can still lead. And love can still change the tone of a nation. As this night falls over Copenhagen and Spain continues celebrating across plazas, living rooms, and screens glowing past midnight, one thing becomes clear. Today wasn't just historic. Today was the moment Spain realized its future queen carries more than a crown. She carries a heart powerful enough to unite people, across borders, across traditions, across generations. This is Princess Leonor's story. This is Spain's moment. And this is only the beginning.